Boy, isn't that fun?
You're having too much fun.
Yep.
You and the Dirty Bird.
Yeah, this is the Bird for sure. This guitar is kind of off the charts and very powerful guitar. You know?
So you're playing through through a pair of hundreds?
Pair of hundreds.
That's kind of a change.
Yep. The one on the bottom left is one of mine, and I'm playing through the one on the top, which is what will be serial number 1. I'm burning that one in.
So one prototype and one
and one finished production. And there's one more for this year of a finished one that I haven't started to burn. I played it, but I haven't started to heavily burn it yet, you know. I will. That's ADG, by the way, after a... Univibe first, then ADG.
You like those old effects?
Yeah, the ADG is like it's wicked all-tube replacement for fuzz, especially when you hear it for the first time with a Univibe or something. It's like you'll never put a transistor fuzz in front of something again. Anyway.
So you're enjoying that with the push-pull amps?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my oldest designs. I was always working on the 10N when I was very young, and the push-pull 100 that went with it. of course, I redid, with all the years of experience, the 10Ns. How long ago, maybe?
You started working on them 2015?
Yeah, something like that. And so those have been around a while. There's at least 60 of those out there. And everybody's been asking me about the 100 because it's the more popular amp. It's been used on more records.
So you'd say it's the more notable of your two designs, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. It started when I had the first one done. My friend Paul, who played in a Boston band, pretty big Boston band. That band came apart, and then he went to New York and hooked up with some guys, and they got a record deal. And he called me up and said, yeah, we got some money, you know. Because I'd always been working on his Marshalls, building him guitars and stuff, you know. And so I built one of each of these for him, the oldest ones. And
So the push-pull and the single-ended.
and I flew out to New York to the record factory, record plant, whatever the name of that studio was, a famous studio. And these amps were I put them in I was so young and stupid, I put them in a giant wooden crate. I painted the crate fluorescent orange, so I thought I could see it from the airplane, you know what I mean, to see that they weren't messing it up, you know. And I'll never forget waiting at the turnstile. They must have hated me because it weighed like 1,000 pounds. This giant fluorescent crate comes down the thing, and it's all busted up, but the amps were fine, you know. And it was the record self-titled. The name of the band was Spread Eagle, and the record was Spread Eagle. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but
It does.
but it's kind of a cult thing, you know. They were really good, and so that record, that amp made its first debut on a record there, and I go over people's houses and they get that playing. I'm like, you know who that is? And it's I didn't never realized it was so you know, whatever. But anyway, and then of course there was all the time in Texas, and Steve Bruton would take him over to the studio and record a lot of stuff, a lot of that. All those records he was producing, Storyteller and all that, those amps were in there. And I was told the other day by somebody that there were 8 Dumbles in there, and my amp, and all the good guitar players would play those Dumbles and my amp on all those tracks. So that, I mean, I don't know exactly what it's on over there, but Steve told me, yeah.
It was in some sort of music studio, recording studio.
He told me, yeah, we used that thing constantly, and then he would call me again and say, bring him down again. We got another big session going on, so I would always bring him down, and then Eric Johnson would come and take him to the studio, but they were so big and heavy, they weren't convenient like this, you know, and
Regular sized.
yeah, and he's not the strongest guy in the world, so we used to carry them together into his white Thunderbird. But so this amp is actually more notable, but because Sean played the 10Ns, obviously, you know, I mean,
Which is why they're called the 10Ns.
Sean Lane, come on, you know, I mean, it's hard to have somebody more respected in the underground world of music than that man, you know.
He certainly seems to still have a following.
Yeah, this one is so and so in a box. That's a joke. No.
Oh, Hendrix in a box.
Yeah, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Just can't get enough of that. Wow. So it's just.
Well, you just got Dirty
So this
Bird back
guitar-
out of.
Yeah, I just reshaped this neck to where I wanted it. So this chord goes into the Univibe, then the Univibe goes into ADG, then ADG is going into the larger of the two delays, the long one. Sounds like a big stadium, you know. And then that goes into that splitter box, which is just putting it into the 2 amps. So if I were to have my heavier set gain master on instead of ADG here, that would be this one. It would be that would be like that amp by itself cranked up, which would be ungodly loud. Well, my box is really simulated. I mean, come on. I mean, listen to that. No transistor crap. I mean, this is all tube. And then this other gain master is set really light, this one. So this would be like the amp just cranked up just to where it breaks up a little bit, right? Turn the guitar down. That's beautiful, just at the edge of breakup. And then, of course, with none of them on. All that's coming from a very clean setting on these hundreds. And these hundreds will stay clean way up there. I mean, these things are.
They're almost turned off.
Volumes are barely on. These amps are scary powerful. Well, why do you need all that power? Well, if you were playing a stadium, you'd need it, right? And you know, you'd never really need two, but there's something to all those tubes and those big transformers. And I've got like tremendous interleaving on this transformers. The clean sound is so sweet on these amps. It's totally different than the 10N.
I thought people liked the clean sound on the 10N.
Huh?
I thought people liked the clean sound on
It's
the 10N.
different. It's totally different.
What about the response time? People always say this 10N has such a fast response
Well, see,
time.
that's the thing. Is like people who've heard that I'm building these again. I've never played the original one. That have 10Ns are like, what's the point? The 10N's the greatest amp in the world, and yeah, it is in a lot of ways. But this is different. And when they come here, and they've ordered these for next year because they play through them and go, but wait a minute. I mean, this. I thought it was just going to be a push-pull amp, but it's just more than that. It's the best push-pull amp you're ever going to play. So it has a lot of the special things that the 10N has, you know, like the response time and the feel, but in a push-pull nature, which is big and brawny, and the clean sound isn't as beautiful in a way of the 10N, but it's very straightforward.
Very chimey.
These amps will produce a very extended high end and a very extended deep, rich low end. And on the top, and that's with a fuzzy preamp going in the Univibe, right? If I were to shut that vibe off, then you really hear the clean of the amp. Now it's the high end is unaffected by the Univibe puts like a haze, but that's the beauty of it. The amp by itself. Anyway, the hundreds rock.
Yeah, I don't see Bob much anymore. But I hear a lot of stuff coming out of
It's tough
this
to come in this
room.
room and say, what am I going to play in my half hour? Am I going to turn 10Ns on, or am I going to turn these on? They're just so, what a choice to have, you know? And I'm so happy that my original two designs, all the stuff I did, all the years, I had these when I was a kid, and these two designs are really, they're everything. They're everything you'd ever need to do, you know?
So you feel like you've got them finally polished up
Yeah.
the way you wanted.
Oh yeah, way better than the originals. Are you kidding?
Plus now you got the Gain Master and the ATG. Now you got the Gain Master and the ATG.
Yeah, I mean it's.
So the ADG is kind of the modern, finished version of some of the other stuff you worked on before?
Yeah, there was a box called Black and White. It was similar in a lot of ways to ADG, but I don't even remember what it was. But somebody sent me one a couple of weeks ago so I could see it again after
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool. It actually sounds more like a fuzz face than ADG. ADG is fuzz face and then some, you know. And then a lot. I mean, it takes it from this. Right? This is going to take this from here to here. That thing, well, when you think of it that way, what that thing does to a clean amp, I mean, we all think about things just because they've been around for so long, but when you think of it that way, what that thing does to this sound right here, with all tubes, it's actually even impressive to me. You know you want to play this. And you're welcome to come over and do it. Just to say you did.
So far, the two guys that came over to get their 10 ends decide they want one of these next.
One of them ordered two.
We better get busy.
Yeah. All right. Peace out. The old-fashioned way. Peace out. Hundreds rock.